All right, what is going on, guys? It is me. I'm back with a YouTube video. Finally, after I was able to come back to Miami and actually get my computer, or not my computer, but my camera, which I did not have prior, which made me very incapable of making YouTube videos. So we are back now, and it is the end of October. It is October 30th, right there. You can see quickly. I don't want you guys to see the Uber Eats address that I have here, but I'm getting some energy drinks. It is 8 o'clock, so bear that in mind as well. But like I said, it is October. October, as many of you know, was a very difficult trading month for a lot of people for many different reasons. Some people I know have done really, really well, exceptionally well in October. I know one student in my Discord who makes about $60,000 or made about $60,000 in the month of October. So that was super awesome for him. Shout out Xavier. But yeah, there was some people, and I would say majority of people, myself included, had kind of a more difficult October just because of maybe some things with the government shutdown and all that kind of stuff. Like I said, I really never like to blame price action ever for a reason to have a bad month. But overall, I take the same system with the same trades all the time, and some months it works better than others. So that's just kind of what I base it off of. Now, in the month of October, I had a little bit of a break-even month to start the month, and I kind of wanted to go over that with you guys because I know there's a lot of people who have been asking me in my DMs on Instagram, TikTok, even on Discord as well, basically being like, I had a very break-even month, or I had a losing month, and I feel, nervous, or I feel like I don't know how to trade anymore. I feel like I don't understand, the model that I'm learning, all that kind of stuff, right? I want to switch strategy, the usual things that you do once you have like a losing streak, right? You want to switch strategies, you want to change things up, you want to learn new concepts, all that kind of stuff. You want to learn just basically something different than what you were doing because you feel like what you were doing was not working. However, there are other factors that go into it besides just the actual end result, which was the losing month or break-even month or whatever it may be. And that's the same way with positive results as well. You can't just base your skill level and I guess the quality of the model that you're trading, right? This is for strategy specifically, right? Let's say you're trading the motion model, which is the model that I've created, versus let's say random model number 2. Okay, if you traded the motion model versus random model number 2, and random model number 2 makes you $10,000 the first month you use it, then the second month 10,000, 10,000, 10,000, versus the motion model, right? You use it and it doesn't work the first month, doesn't work the second month, but then you start to slowly scale it, right? Now, is the end result of those first 2 months what's going to determine the skill set, determine the success rate of the model? Not necessarily. It's about the user and the person as well. So there's also a learning curve with every single model that you learn. But that's going to be a whole different video that I make or a whole different topic that I make a video on. Now, as far as October goes, I want to go back to October. I want to make this a really quick video, give you guys some sauce here. As far as October, I was very break even to the start of the month. I was getting a lot of trades where I was taking like a 1-to-3 or a 1-to-4 risk to reward ratio, and I was oftentimes, achieving like a 1-to-1, maybe 1-to-2. As you guys know, if you don't know at least, I go break even usually at a 1-to-1 risk to reward ratio, which is usually anywhere from 15 to 25 points within my trade. So usually my average trade will go anywhere from like 40 to maybe 70 points is like what I'm usually aiming for, depending on the draw and liquidity, obviously. And there's a lot of times where I would get to, let's say 35, 40 points, and then, price would reverse and it would break me even, or I would get like a trailed winning day, and then I would have a loss and it would cancel out the trailed winning day, all that kind of stuff. Like I was pretty break even. Like I would take a win, then I would take a loss, right? And then I would take a bunch of break evens, and I would take a loss. Then I would take a win that's small, but then I would take a break even, and it's basically was just my account was sitting at the same spot at the beginning of the month as it was about halfway through the month, and I was really not okay with that. And I want to pull this up for you guys as well because this is pretty crazy stuff, to be honest. I want to pull this picture up for you guys of this specific day that I had trading. Sorry, not to go off course here, but yeah, this was one single day that I had trading the motion model. If you guys can see that, about $5,100 or $5,200 on 5 accounts. So what is that? Almost 26,000, pretty much 25,900 in a single day, a single trading day, which is absolutely insane. My best day ever, at least on Express accounts. I've had other days where I've had multiple accounts, more than 10, more than 15 accounts at a time trading, and yeah, I can make 25,000. But on 5 accounts, making 25,000. That's the biggest day that I've ever had, at least personally, on Top Step. So that was pretty huge. And honestly, the way that I was able to achieve that winning day is literally just waking up. The day that it happened, I woke up and I was just like, you know what, fuck this. I'm super tired of being break even in October. I haven't been risking heavily enough. I am not confident enough in my draw. I'm taking one trade a day. Usually that's what I was doing. I was taking one trade every single day, whether I win or lost or I broke even, right? And a lot of the times my draw would actually be correct and I would get break even or I would lose, whatever it is. And, there's other opportunities where I could have entered and made money and, ended up on the day. But there, I obviously had the one trade rule, so I wasn't able to do that. So then I kind of pivoted and I said, you know what, how about I set myself a set loss limit, right? I set loss limit that I absolutely cannot break, and I'll lock out my risk settings before the day starts so that I cannot change it, right? So I chose about $600. $600 is what I was comfortable losing in a single day, taking as many trades as I want. I could take 100 trades, 200 trades, whatever. But I just wanted to take trades that were discretionary usually, because I'm not going to find like 50, obviously I'm not taking 50 trades, but I'm not going to find like 3 to 5 motion model setups within one session. There's going to be some discretion kind of mixed in there and all that kind of stuff with my draw and liquidity and all that. So I ended up on that day taking 3 trades. All 3 of them won. One of them was a motion model setup that I have posted on my TikTok as well. And those 3 trades allowed me to hit that 5,200. And that was literally just because I set myself a loss limit, a $600 loss limit, something I usually don't do. I usually just lock myself out at one trade, regardless of the result. I set myself a loss limit of 600, which is usually what my stop loss would be anyway for a normal day if I did take a losing trade, about $600. If I was on 2 minis, $300 to $400 if I was on 1 mini. So yeah, $600 is pretty reasonable. So I set myself that loss limit and I decided, you know what, I'm going to either run this up or I'm going to lose the $600 and then I'm going to go back tomorrow and I'm going to continue to trade how I always trade. And that was it. And then I was able to use that $600 loss limit that I had locked out and set for myself per account to run up to 5,200. I just continued to stack wins, right? Won the first trade, then I stacked the profit. I risked some of the profit from that first trade. Then same thing with the third trade, and I was able to end off at 5,200. I just entered at 3 trades. I entered at a motion model win, and that was it, okay? Now, that mindset shift that I had, right, to be able to be adaptive in market conditions that were not necessarily favorable to my model, right, is something that only comes with time. And it's something that you guys should not be thinking of doing, at least when you're in the beginning stages of your trading. And that's something that I told a lot of my students in the, level 1, level 2, levels of the group mentorship. So we have like level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, or not level 4, but elite is the 4th level. And so everyone who is under level 3, essentially, I was like, you know what, you guys are either trying to pass a funded account or trying to get your first payout. Those are what those 2 levels are for. And I told them essentially, you guys should not be trading discretionarily, continue to trade the model the way that it is, but start to adjust things that I'm telling you to adjust because of something that I'm noticing with the model, right? So for example, I told them that if they wanted to start to scale at a 1 to 2 instead of just holding the full draw, that was perfectly fine. And I saw a lot of people actually start to shift and change into only trading a 1 to 2 risk to reward ratio every single trade they took, and they started taking 1, more wins, and 2, more consistent trades, right? So they were able to actually catch more moves and take full profit on those moves rather than getting 1 break even on like a 1 to 4 or a 1 to 5 RR trade, or even just like a trailed win, right, of a $200 or $500 or whatever it may be. They were able to start actually taking full take profits, and that was something that was beneficial to their psychology as well, because they made a small adjustment, or I gave them a suggestion of a small adjustment to make, and they made it, and then within the market conditions that they were presented, they were able to be successful with that change that they made, right? Because that original system that we came into the beginning of October with, the beginning of the month is, okay, we're gonna trade to the draw. We're going to go break even at a 1 to 1, whatever. We're gonna take 1 trade a day, right? And then what kind of switched? We started to see our draw got hit, but it didn't get hit on the first move down or even the second move down. Let's say it was a bearish draw, right? Or the first move up, second move up. It was kind of chopping around, going back to entry and then starting to deliver, right? So we kind of noticed that and we go, okay, cool. I'm fine with taking 2 break-even trades if on the third setup that I'm taking, it's a win or it's a trade that would actually be valid for me to either reach my draw on liquidity or be wrong about my draw on liquidity. And that's kind of what I switched in my trading. I was able to up my trade frequency, or the ability to trade more frequently than I was currently. And then for my students, I just kind of changed up their risk to reward. And that is the mindset that I kind of wanted to get across to you guys in this video, is the fact that you need to be able to pivot as a good trader, as someone who has market experience. You need to be able to understand that the market conditions you're currently in are completely out of your control, and the only thing you can do is pivot and make adjustments to be able to handle those market conditions a little bit better. Kind of like the suggestions that I made. But yeah, I've been yapping for about 9 minutes. I appreciate you guys watching. If you have any questions or if you would like to learn from me, kind of like I said, the Inner Circle Group Mentorship, I'm going to put the link to apply in the bio. And yeah, appreciate you guys watching. Peace out.